An absolutely glorious late March afternoon in Louisville, Kentucky. The championship is in full swing. One of the great Eastern Conference rivalries of recent years to the fore again. Louisville City take on Birmingham Legion. And joined by the former Manchester United goalkeeping legend, Gary Bailey, Mike Watts. You think about this Louisville City team, you know a good run of form when you see it. They're trying for just the third time to start with 3 straight wins.
Yeah, the 2 wins they've got so far have been very impressive. Harris up front has looked super sharp. So too has Ray Serrano. These young players are beginning to mature, and they could be the lead players for Louisville City this season.
And for Louisville up front, our Commonwealth Credit Union player to watch is Wilson Harris. We know he can score, but it seems different this year, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think he's matured. He's 24 years of age now. The last couple of seasons, he's been the youngster that they were hoping would come good. Now he has come good. He scored in both the games. They look to him to get those crucial go-ahead goals.
He's the guy now up front. Meanwhile, in the back line, it's a familiar face. He's a goal scorer, too, to be fair.
Yeah, 23 goals for the club as a centre-back. That's not bad. He's the main penalty taker. Ice in his veins when he steps up for those penalties. But, of course, he's also tough as can be at the back, an uncompromising central defender.
Ordonez, Adams, Tosh, the trio again in the back for Louisville today. Meanwhile, this Birmingham team starts with an amazing result. They knock off the reigning champ in Phoenix, ruin the banner unveiling. And then they laid an egg by their own admission against Hartford, up and down.
It was very, very down against Hartford, wasn't it? First 45 minutes, they were absolutely nowhere. They could barely get a shot on target. They were defending for their lives. In the end, they did have a glimpse or two of the goal, but not too much.
But can you do it on a rainy Saturday in Hartford? They weren't able to, but on a sunny day in Louisville, this is Enzo's ish. This is one of the league's all-time greats.
33 years of age, 26 goals in 70-odd matches for this club. He's brilliant, he's clever, he works around the fringes of the box, and he's always looking for that dangerous ball inside the box to get past the defense.
One of the joint leading scorers in the history of Louisville City opposition. Tyler Pasher is too, to be fair, 5 goals against Lou City.
Yeah, he's got pace. He is dangerous. He's a player that of great concern to Danny Cruz that his defenders mark this man closely. At 29, he's probably reaching his absolute peak. So keep an eye on Tyler Pasher.
Absolutely tortured Louisville with Indy 11. Now with Birmingham, try and stay healthy. That's a double-digit goal scorer. Bring in the drama line, closing in on kickoff in Kentucky. Louisville City welcome Birmingham Legion. Lineups and kickoff on the other side of the break on a gorgeous March afternoon.
Imagine yourself in a new Toyota.
Wow.
Yeah.
Woo! I love it. Woo!
Whoa.
Oh, hey.
What are we, Steve?
Winners.
I love you.
Get a new 24 RAV4 or electrified RAV4 hybrid with 4.75 APR financing, or lease a gas-powered RAV4 for $299 a month with 2 years no-cost maintenance.
Ready, set, go get your Toyota today.
Toyota, let's go places.
On April 8th, a total solar eclipse is visible in our area, but you need ISO-approved eclipse glasses to view it safely.
You can get a pair of our WDRB glasses at all Scooters Coffee locations to keep your family safe during the event.
Make sure to get your ISO-approved WDRB Eclipse glasses at all Scooters Coffee locations. Get a free pair when you purchase a specialty drink or Scoot Energy. Additional glasses can be purchased for $2 each, while supplies last.
Ready to roll in Kentucky. We take a look at the starting 11 for Louisville City, and yet again, Gary, no changes.
Well, why would you? You got 2 wins back-to-back. Of course, we've spoken about Ray Serrano and Wilson Harris in very, very good form. That 3 at the back. Interesting, Kyler Adams captain and not Sean Tosh, as we've been given it. And keep an eye on that midfield of Winder and Davila as they do the hard graft.
Birmingham just 1 change. Miguel Perez in and Majid Marana to the bench.
Yeah, and you'll see Preston out wide on the right aboard attacker, but I think they might see him in attack at certain stages with Enzo dropping a little bit deeper. It would be a good front 3 of Kasim, Pasha and Preston if they do play that way.
You hope, you dream that the schedule lines up. There's no snow, no rain. Temps are very much pleasant and underway in Kentucky. Louisville City welcome Birmingham Legion. This is one of the truly great Eastern Conference rivalries since Birmingham came into the league. Close out the month of March, an important game for both sides to set the tone in the division, but also to make their mark early, pick up substantial points against one another.
Yeah, for Lou City, they're at home at Lynn Family Stadium. It has been a fortress in years gone past, with the exception possibly of last year. 8 wins, 6 losses and 3 draws. They'll be wanting to make it a fortress again. They've got 1 win at home already. They'll be hoping to make it 2 here today.
Will soar out of play. Wilson into Tosh. Enzo Martinez skulking behind.
Skulking. Yeah, he is that dangerous player, isn't he? Looking to get any turnover ball and feed it straight to his strikers.
And Ocol plunges as far as Ordonez. Here's Adams. Serrano. Adrian Perez didn't like the look. It's Adams. Jake Morris. Take on his defender, lift the cross all the way through past Wilson on the other side.
That's a decent cross from Jake Morris. If he gets a few more like that in there, there'll be problems for Birmingham.
Taylor Davila. He's impeded now. Across half field where Ordonez settles through Las.
Just to get back to that Jake Morris cross, he got right to the byline, but he whipped it in. It was a dangerous ball in there, and a good timing run and a bit of space, and who knows, Wilson Harris might have got on the end of that. He might still do in this match if he keeps putting crosses in like that, Jake Morris.
Davila! Davila!
Well, it wasn't too far off. Got you excited for a moment.
It did.
Let's have a look at it. Hit some power as well. Got some power behind that. Davila. In the end, you can see Matt Van Ocol not really bothered. You could see it was going wide.
6 goals, 5 assists last year for Davila at Rio Grande Valley. That side folded, made Davila available. Commonwealth Credit Union, you can learn more about how we can help you meet your financial goals. Serrano touching across, and up and away from Perez. Well, you can visit WeSeeYouDifferently.com. You can also visit a replay as well and get an idea of just how close Perez was here. Was deflected.
Again, Serrano, very, very good play out wide. Gets the ball right into the danger area. Just pops up for Perez and can't keep the ball down, but he does get the corner, of course.
5-5 corner kick for Louisville City. They've owned the early proceedings. Ball knocked down. Enzo Martinez swings this over the top. Maybe there's something for Pasher to work with. Has support. Takes the onus. Knocked down by Serrano. Vital intervention on one of the most ruthless goal scorers in the league for the last half-decade.
And how quick were they, Birmingham, in transition there. Again, going through Enzo. He gets the ball head up straight away. Finds Tyler Pasha, and Pasha just darts straight for the box. Gets stopped in the end, but that is the danger they represent in transition, Birmingham.
Pasher excellent on those Swope Park Rangers teams that Louisville saw year after year come playoff time. Ultimately, it was his performance at Indy 11 that earned him a place with the Houston Dynamo for 2 years. Comes to Preston Tabordi-Taka, who is playing off on the right-hand side. There's a lot of versatility to this group, right? We saw Enzo Martinez listed as the striker. He is, in fact, playing there, but he could play in like 5 different positions and give you a different look in each.
Yeah, I must admit, I'm surprised that they are sticking with what they said and playing Tabordi-Taka wide on the right, because he's a big guy. And sometimes you want a big guy to be your target man to hold the ball up. But if Tom Sohn's logic is get the ball to Enzo, head up to Tyler Pasha, then we've already seen how it worked really well once on the counter.
Serrano sending Harris, bounces away. Davila's got it. It's in the net. It was never going to count. It already whistled this dead. They were watering this field until about 3 minutes before the players came out, and it looked like the turf monster might have been involved here.
Let's just see. There's a great chance here for Wilson Harris. I'm not quite sure where the infringement is. I'm wondering if it happened before Wilson Harris got the ball, but it would have been a great chance for him nonetheless.
Clearly saying it's where, based on the spot of where they've put the free kick, Perez into the back of the defender that had the chance.
So Wilson Harris's chance would have counted had he have hit target.
Yes, seemed that way. But we take a moment, think about your keys coming into this game for Louisville. It's the guys that have tormented them in the past.
Yes, and nearly did in that breakaway a few minutes ago. Pasha and Enzo. And Daniel Cruz quite right to see the danger in those two. And for Birmingham, deal with a high press. Tom Sohn very concerned that every time they get the ball that they don't get turnover ball, which happened against Hartford. And of course, Lou City, well renowned for a good high press when they haven't got the ball.
Davila stuck his foot out. Siphoned off by Winder, and now a whistle and a free kick. Well, fans, welcome to the 2024 USL kickoff. It's presented by Terminix throughout the month of March. USL kicking off across the country. Join us for all the action on ESPN and CBS sports platforms. The kickoff is over after this weekend. You can just watch Louisville on CBS for the heck of it come April 6th next week when they see Indy 11. Do they do this in England, a 3-week-long kickoff?
Not really.
Okay.
I don't think.
I thought this was more of an American thing.
Yeah, probably.
Okay.
A lot of things that are American. The playoffs being the biggest one for me. Still got to wrap my head around playing all season and you don't get anything. Well, you get, of course, you get something for it if you win the table, but you don't get the big prize.
Yeah.
In England, of course, rest of the world possibly, it's finishing top of the table into the season that counts.
Morris getting comfortable with Preston Tabordi-Taka. Birmingham still arguing the point. It is a 5th, 3rd free kick for Louisville.
Maybe Tabordi-Taka is playing out wide in that right to stop Jake Morris getting down the line. So it could be a clever tactical move by Tom Sohn just to stop Lou City getting on the front foot with their wide men.
He did play 7, 11, and 9 in Las Vegas, Tabordi-Taka. Won't be Perez. It's lifted across. Davila settles, swivels. Adrian Perez. Davila slaloming inward. Morris, that ricochets off an arm. Morris is livid, and Kalin Radisov clearly deemed that that wasn't an unnatural position from the defender.
Well, let's have a closer look again. Referee has to make a decision once and immediately, so it's not easy. Let's have a look there.
Oh, no, clearly.
Oh, I tell you what, that did hit his hand, didn't it?
It looked at first glance, right, like it came off maybe the underside of his arm, but...
Again, it's tough for the referees. They've got no VAR. They can't, you know, slow it down. They've got to just see it. And at that point, if you've got a bad angle, someone walks across you, you can't see it clearly. You can't give what you think happened. You have to give what you actually see. That certainly is a let-off for Birmingham early on.
Ball through, the whistle has gone now. So Birmingham let off the hook, it appears. Let's take another look back at that early controversy.
Yep, it is a handball, but we have the benefit of seeing a replay, and the referee doesn't.
And I've now seen that 3 separate times, and I always try and get the general vision that a referee has, because the AR on that side of the field is on the opposite side of the camera, and where that hand is extended. I try and give benefit of the doubt, but that's a tough one.
Well, I'm sure we're going to hear more about it should Lou City not win this game. If they win it, then those things tend to be forgotten.
Jansen Wilson commits the foul, and now Birmingham have something to show for it. Pasher will line up a free kick. And to welcome Miguel Perez in. You may be familiar a bit with Perez. He was with St. Louis City 2, playing for John Hackworth when City 2 came to Louisville for the Open Cup in 2022.
And nearly beat them, didn't it? Wasn't that? Didn't it
Penalties.
go to penalties? Yeah. Wow.
15 games in MLS for the 18-year-old Missouri native. He's over the ball now. Perez swinging back post, and that'll be askew.
A good ball in, isn't it? It's whipped, it's got pace, it allows defenders to get on the end of it. And unfortunately for AJ Patterson, he just can't get over the ball. But very difficult to defend against when it comes in that quickly.
Beautiful select ball, and a reminder that the official match ball supplier of the championship, many elite leagues throughout Europe, is in fact Select. Visit us.select-sport.com. The latest Select products, specials, and more. Select, the player's choice. Something on here, Morris. Morris bouncing all the way through. There was a delicate touch, it appeared, from Patterson. Otherwise, for Adrian Perez, that may have been a tap-in.
He's frustrated, Jake Morris. I tell you what, it's another great ball in from out wide on the left. He has put some quality into that box, Jake Morris.
Ball whipped across again. There's the opener. Morris this time. His first goal in purple. Louisville lead.
That's well deserved by Jake Morris. He has been absolutely superb in this match so far, bombing balls in from the left-hand side. Well, this time he decided to get in on the party. He came into the box, and that ball was whipped in from the other side. Another good cross, another cross that asked questions, and he was there just to pick it up and see it into the back of the net. But what a lovely cross coming in there from Taylor Davila. And they've deserved this, I think, Lou City. They've certainly asked a lot of questions of the defense, but great timing from Jake Morris. Perhaps a question to the defense of Birmingham Legion to allow him to run into that position, but too many balls allowed him from out wide, and Birmingham Legion have paid the price.
And Morris gets his due in the 13th minute after that dime of a ball across previous. His first goal, Jack Harlow loves it, as you'd anticipate. And Louisville City a 1-0 lead over Birmingham Legion. Birmingham trying to get back into this, loss. Davila takes And Tosh clears.
A good save from Damien Last there. He's got big gloves to fill. The last few seasons have had some wonderful goalkeepers at Lou City. And this young man at 21 has just pulled off an excellent and important early save.
Shot stopper, but a winner is the next thing out of Danny Cruz's mouth, describing what Damien Last brings to this equation. Long throw will outstretch Prosper Kasim. Good time to remind you that when Lou City wins, you win. This season, Lou City is partnered with Wendy's to give a free small Frosty if the boys in purple win. No purchase necessary. Offer valid the following day after a win at any participating Louisville area Wendy's location to redeem. You don't have to buy anything, but I'd suggest the fries. It's a great Frosty delivery device. This is from experience, Gary.
Okay.
Yeah.
I bow to your superior knowledge.
Yeah. I got you there. Pasher brings it back. Patterson, Pasher. He can do crazy things from here. Pasher rolled it inside, ricocheted around, kept away from Kazim. Settled by Fanuel Kavita. Dancing and crossing over Kasim and the late arriving Tabor Itaka.
And Wegbo there just overhitting that ball, but he's the one who had the shot that caused Damien Last to have to get down very smartly to his left-hand side and make that save a couple of minutes ago.
Well, you and I had a chance to talk with Danny Cruz, and I'll be first to raise my hand. Seeing Pittsburgh struggle here so substantially last week, it's shocking. The reality is Louisville City in every facet, especially before the substitution that they made about 25 minutes in, bringing off Danny Rivera. But on the whole in the first half, there was no phase in which they weren't dominant. They felt like they didn't get the goal that would solidify that. So the fact that in this game, it's been one-way traffic the first 10 to 15 for the most part. Birmingham starting to find their way again, but they've got the goal. Feels a little different as we see the foul at the touchline.
Yeah, it was a very good, there was a tug there. You could see that very good performance by Lou City against Pittsburgh, and it's difficult to know how bad Pittsburgh were, how good Lou City are, but the more you see of the boys in purple, the more you got to think Danny Cruz is, you know, he's got youngsters maturing, one of them being Ray Serrano. I was a little bit critical of him last season because he's a lovely talent, but just wasn't impacting games. Last game, wins a penalty, scores a goal. It was absolutely superb. And Wilson Harris also, they're just coming into that right age where they're proper professionals now with experience behind them. And a lot of older players have moved on from Lou City. Cam Lancaster, of course, being one of the biggest names. But these players have moved on, and they were the legends of 5-6 years ago. And they need to be replaced. And by the looks of it, Danny Cruz is doing a good job replacing them with some quality young players with a great future.
Danny Cruz, to be fair, said, look at the number of minutes he played. I felt similarly to you last year, but Serrano, in his estimation, may have been, as he nods this further, the best player in preseason for Louisville City, and it certainly shined through in early days. Van Okel toward the halfway line. Smash down, Tabor Itaka will take it, and a foul against Winder. Kasim with his head up will hold off. There was a yellow card, by the way, a bone dry roofing yellow to Jansen Wilson on the previous Birmingham attack at the halfway line.
Just looking at Winder, he's another player now, 21 years of age. He's been in the club for quite a few years, but you know, he's been a kid, so to speak. It was an 18-year-old, 19-year-old we're talking about. Now he's 21. He's got the experience. He knows the Lou City way, and he knows what he has to produce on the pitch now. And it's similar to Ray Serrano. They're beginning to produce some real quality for the boys in purple.
Wegbo did well enough to win a corner. See the wind sort of flapping at the corner flags.
It's never nice for a keeper because that ball is, the wind is blowing it in. So if you whip that ball in as a keeper, if you don't get it, you know it's coming into towards your goal. And that's what Tom Sohn will be hoping happens here, that ball causes Damien Lass all sorts of problems.
Sohn in his 6th season, the inaugural coach, working in tandem with Jay Heaps, leading the front office in Birmingham. In swinger, but ultimately didn't even hit the lily pad.
Such a pity because he got the in-swinging part of it absolutely spot on, but overhit it. You know, it's, to me, and I've never knocked corners in, but I do get frustrated sometimes because you can either put it near post, middle, or far post. And so many corners don't hit any of those 3 areas. It's either too long or too short.
This portion of tonight's game presented by Toyota and the Kentuckiana Toyota dealers. 21st minute, 1-0 to Louisville. Interestingly enough, and it's not surprising if you've watched Birmingham, they are uber competitive with everybody. They are a consistent playoff team from the moment they came into this league. But Louisville has only ever faced 3 teams more often and come away with less than Birmingham Legion. So they've lost 6 times to Cincinnati, 6 times to the Rowdies in 12 and 14 games respectively. They've only lost 3 times to Charleston in 18 games. They've ceded 7 draws in that span. Birmingham's the one that's right around that 500 mark, which, given Louisville's historic success, is pretty remarkable. This is the 12th meeting. 5 wins to Louisville, 4 for Birmingham, and a couple of draws. Is this out for a goal kick?
It's a very close rivalry, isn't it? And you mentioned players. Birmingham have made the playoffs in the last 5 seasons, which is real consistency under Tom Sohn. Of course, Lou City have done it for 8 seasons, and a couple of wins thrown in there into the middle of it, and a couple of finals as well. So they've got an amazing track record. Would I be right in saying the best of any team in the USL in terms of number of final appearances?
Very, very hard to argue. In terms of first off, 9 consecutive conference finals. I mean, you know, you get to your 10th anniversary season, forget not having a losing season. You aren't in the final 4, and it would be unparalleled. That's what Louisville's done. Then obviously getting to the number of finals that they have. Its own glorious record, the 2 stars to show for it. Tosh won the free kick.
And we're talking about these youngsters for Lou City, and Ray Serrano and Elijah Winder, Jansen Wilson. There's a whole bunch of experienced players available. Amadou Dia hasn't played here today, hasn't started. Where's Sharpie? Jorge Gonzalez is on the bench. Carlos Miguel we haven't seen. Niall McCabe. So the depth is there as well for Lou City, which means that this could be a very, very big season for them.
Davila, somehow that snuck through. Perez. That's blocked. By the way, the news really disappointing for Birmingham as this runs in, gets cleared. The left short, Winder sought the return and now flicks it over to Van Oekel. Matthew Corcoran will miss the remainder of the season. It was announced this week after having surgery on his labrum. We spoke with Tommy Sohn about that. Also, the loss of Mikey Lopez, such a substantial sort of Swiss Army knife outside back, can play as a wing back, can play in midfield, gives you so much in so many areas. Such a well-rounded player, but Corcoran, one of the up-and-coming young players in the league. They were hoping that they'd be able to get him in a position to play through that. Ultimately, surgery deemed the best option, and his campaign is over. So with Brian Ownby down for Louisville for an extended period of time, not yet deemed to be season-ending, And for Birmingham to lose Lopez to an Achilles tear, now Corcoran to a labrum injury. Some really substantial pieces missing, and yet both feel they've got more depth than ever.
Yeah, Birmingham also lost Mohamed Boya Touré after the first match, and that was a big player for them. So it looks like Birmingham have been probably the harder hit of the two. But you know, over the course of a season, both sets of teams will lose players to injury. You just look at the depth of Lou City and think maybe they have a few extra players more than Birmingham Legion. But you know, if you're lucky as a coach and your main players remain fit, then that should see you through to the playoffs.
Bounced off the back line to Winder. Davila. Louisville could not catch a break at all last year. The only player on the injury report is Ombi. Serrano. All prodded away. Recovered by Davila. Turned toward Adams. Akers out here to work with. Wilson. Serrano. Peering in. This will be a 5-5 corner for Louisville City.
Again, just putting pressure down the flanks on the left side with Jake Morris, or the right side here. Serrano just helping out Jansen Wilson and wins that corner. So the pressure coming from out wide and very effectively for Lou City.
Corner whip to the short post. Never got to Ordonez. Serrano did well to keep this alive. Navigating inward, ball crossing, appeal for a handball, grabbed by Van Oekel.
It's hard to see a handball there. That was all very quick. But Matt Van Oekel, very quick to react. 37 years of age, the goalkeeper, but really sharp. Ray Serrano again, lovely little touches. Taylor Davila there knocks it in. If it is a handball, it all happened very quickly. Preston Tabor attacker at the near post. I think it's hard to call that when you're literally a yard away from the person who takes the ball to get your hand out the way.
Of course, as you and I have come, I think, to appreciate, we don't draw lines. We don't try and figure out offside by millimeters. No VAR in the championship.
Yep. It's the old-fashioned way. Leave it to the officials to make a decision. Sometimes you'll get the call, sometimes you won't. That's swings and roundabouts over the course of a season, I would think.
That's right. Adams. That's great work by Serrano to keep this in. Wilson Harris attacking, lining it across. And the clearance away from the net mouth. Adams swings over to Tosh.
Birmingham have to do something about these balls being played down the line and across, because that ball has whipped across the goal of Matt Van Oekel so many times first half. And yes, they do have the one goal by Jake Morris, but it could be 3 or 4. The quality of ball being played in from width for Lou City is excellent.
Can't watch the match? Turn on SiriusXM FC 157. That's North America's only 24/7 source for engaging soccer talk, including USL All Access, Tuesdays 7 Eastern, SiriusXM FC 157, and the new SiriusXM app.
I'm just wondering what Tom Sohn is thinking at this stage, because they've had a little sniff here and there, Birmingham, but generally they've been defending, trying to stop these excellent attacks down the flanks from Lou City. And he said to us when we chatted to him, this is a bounce back game after the Hartford match, which was just horrendous. I mean, Hartford's XG was 4.07. They only won 1-0, but they, according to XG, should have scored 4 goals. And for Birmingham, just 1.3. So they really were given a pasting. And he said, we've got to bounce back. Well, they're 1-0 down, nearly a third of the way into the match. And I just wonder if he feels this is going to happen. This is going to be a bounce back match or not, because they've got a lot of work to do if it is going to be.
Hasher dropped in deep and centrally, trying to take some possession. And you asked whether or not it's so early, right? 2 games. Is that a concern? His initial belief, this is an anomaly. I've been around these guys for 2 months now. I ultimately think I've got a good feel, and so many guys are back that drive culture, momentum for a team like Birmingham. Enzo Martinez is not satisfied with any result that isn't a win. This will run all the way through to Van Oekel.
Look, it's difficult if you lose a second match on the trot. You're Birmingham. It's, you know, players are human. They start to drop their heads, worry about what's coming up. But they do have Loudon at home next. And mind you, Loudon's a better team every season. They bring in, the last couple of seasons, they've brought in older players, more mature players that can perhaps perform. So that's not an easy one. North Carolina away, Miami away. So if you get off to a bad start, it can start to pile up. Conversely, if you lose City and you get 3 wins on the trot, confidence is sky high. Everybody wants to play, and you can build on that. So, of course, I'm stating the absolute obvious. Coaches want to get off to the best possible start, which is why Tom Soane will be desperate that they bounce back from that very poor Hartford performance.
And that North Carolina team, a lot of guys from League One, to be fair, and we've seen teams, RGV did a lot. I think Indy 11 has utilized League One players a lot, but certainly a step up for a handful of those guys. They just went and took out Hartford 2-1 last night.
Yeah, I didn't see that coming, oh, to be honest. I mean, having watched Hartford with the pace they have, and Ingalina, and on both flanks, they've got great pace. They look really good. But again, maybe they caught Birmingham on an off day, and maybe they look better than, you know, it's still early days to really figure out, which was your point about the Pittsburgh match against Lou City. You know, who was really bad and who was just good on the day. It's hard to tell. Only over the course of the season will we get a good sense of whether Pittsburgh will suffer this season. Every season they give away so many, or they let go, they don't stop the players leaving.
Yep.
Top goal scorers, the previous season it was Alex Dixon and Serrano.
Cicerone, yeah.
Cicerone,
went to
right.
Sacramento and kept piling up dozen goal seasons.
And then this last year it's Albert Dikwer, and it's going to hurt you eventually.
Martinez chasing after it. And of course, the number 5 in the middle of your screen, Arturo Ordonez.
Yes.
Jamaldi Waite leaves for El Paso.
Yeah, good points.
A warm welcome to the fans watching this game on WBKI. Still the official broadcast home for Louisville City FC. See most games on WBKI this year. For next week's game, you'll have to flip a couple channels over. Louisville City will welcome Indy 11 on CBS, coast to coast. End line, Serrano, grabbed by Van Oekel, though it appeared that had cleared the line regardless.
Still a great effort by Serrano. The turn. He's doing things that last season didn't come off, but have a look here. The turn here to get round and past Croniale. Absolutely brilliant. And yes, it does just go over the line, but he is really, he started the season on absolute fire, this young man.
And they're just asking for that element of consistency, right? It sort of blew my mind too, because you think back to his time at Tacoma, and he's 21 years old. The kid only just was allowed to start drinking in the last 12 months. I don't know how to describe youth better than this. Mwegbo, Kasim, touch away by Perez, slid out toward the halfway line, and there goes Las. I don't know about you at 21. Were you already at United?
Yeah, and I've been playing in the first team for a year and a half already.
Yeah.
So I think it's different in Europe. 21's not young in Europe. 17, 18 is. But what he's done, Ray, is he's more like a European player because he's been a professional in his youth, not at college. I think a lot of players in this system, they go to college, they come out of college, and then they become pros.
Brutal turnover, and Serrano unable to make them pay for it. However, that did deflect. And another Louisville City corner to come. That turnover, very uncharacteristic.
And again, it's Ray Serrano who pops onto it and tries to create something from it. He gets a turnover ball there, cuts inside left foot, and it does get blocked, but it's just, it must be so exciting for Daniel Cruz to see this young man so actively involved in almost every attack they've had this half so far.
Nolly just doesn't do things like that. 5-5 corner to come. The near post, pinged around off of Ordonez. You heard what's on CBS next week, 4 o'clock, right about this time? I can tell you again.
Go on then, Lou City Indy.
Yeah, new era of USL kicks off in April. April 6th on CBS, Lou City, Indy 11, 4 p.m. Eastern, right here at Lynn Family Stadium. It's the first ever national broadcast, the USL on CBS networks. And then the following Tuesday, Louisville on CBS Sports Network will travel to Charleston for a rematch of the Eastern Conference Final. Swept ahead, Perez, in toward Harris. Harris! 3 goals, 3 games. This man's on fire.
Absolutely brilliant from Wilson Harris. He didn't have an angle with his right foot, so he dragged it back onto his left. Absolutely brilliant IQ within the box to make that space, but again, ball into dangerous areas down the right-hand side, whipped across. It's been happening this entire half, and they've got some joy from it now. They've got joy from both occasions from the right-hand side, but have a look here. Perez just bombing down there, but he's got options out wide to his right, and this ball gets whipped in. Now, he's got nothing there on his right foot, so he just drags it back with his left and then sends the goalkeeper in the wrong direction. Brilliant play. Lovely cross coming in from Jansen Wilson, and good finish from the other Wilson, Wilson Harris.
Harris and some of these new Louisvillian players feeding him, already best friends. First-class performance week after week from Harris. He is what's popping in the league. And Lou City take a 2-0 lead. The goal presented by Kentucky Lottery, fueling imagination, funding education. The Kentucky Lottery.
Well, remember a guy called Cam Lancaster?
and wasn't that always the most interesting thing for a young player to come in? Sometimes you have to replace a guy who's already left, and that's tough for a young player at a club of this stature. Cam was still here, and Wilson was battling tooth and nail for those minutes. They both deal with injuries on and off, and you'd see these elongated spells. This is the first time you went into a year and went, Wilson Harris, the 9 is yours, 2,000 plus minutes. How many goals can you score?
Yep. Cam Lancaster's moved on, and it's your stage, but he just reminds me of that Cam Lancaster moment. Quick drag back, quick hit, back of the net, and maybe they have a new superstar. Cam Lancaster's gone, but the new man is Wilson Harris, and that's a guy that could take Lou City to great success as Cam Lancaster did back in the day.
9 goals last year, 15 in 2022. He's already got 3 this season and done it in rapid succession. Free kick for Birmingham. Oh, it's a laser. I'm sorry, I wasn't familiar with your game. I mean, you know, Pasher can do it, but I mean, come on.
Well, Damian Lass wasn't 100% sure because he's thrown himself towards that top corner. He's thinking, if this dips, I'm in trouble. Well, it didn't dip, it just kept rising at the end. The goalkeeper more than relieved to wave that one goodbye.
When you see the player that probably did, I think it was Harris, had a chance to put his head on that and go, no. That's self-preservation. My gosh.
It is a great strike, and we've already mentioned how good Tyler Pasher is when he gets the ball, and I'm sure Birmingham Legion fans are excited to see something on the offensive because they're really struggling here. 2-0 down, coming off the back of a terrible loss and a terrible performance, more importantly. Just wonder how Tom Soane's going to turn this around at Lynn Family Stadium, of all places.
Tosh, brought down by Cronali. It's actually a couple hours north of here in Columbus that Cronali first got on Soane's radar. He was in charge of scouting Cronali out of school for the Columbus Crew. Whistle's gone here. looks like Birmingham is starting to get some bodies warm here late in the half. You know, you and I were a bit perplexed at where Preston Tabor-Itaka ultimately lined up in this game. I think you may have had a really good theory as to why. I'm just not sure it's played.
Yeah, to stop Jake Morris bombing forward.
Ball across, snatched by Van Oekel.
But he's more of a striker toward attacker.
Yeah.
And maybe not fitting into that right sort of wing role where you come back and defend, but you've also got to get forward. So we hear rumors there might be a substitution, in which case I said a few minutes ago, Thompson is probably thinking of what to do. He might take immediate action, which would be very brave just before halftime. Normally you'd go into the locker room with only 6 minutes or so, or just over 5. But let's see if he makes a sub before the halftime break.
Martinez working through Nwegbo, who shifted off to the right-hand side. The intriguing change that appears poised to happen. Moses Mensah is inched over to the 4th official. It's a left back, so by putting Tabor-Itaka out there, you may have already started the wheels in motion to bring the left back in off the bench. Try and change the look here for Birmingham, and I can't remember a team ever forcing an opponent to tip hand twice in 2 weeks, because Pittsburgh had to make a pre-halftime tactical change too.
Okay, and perhaps credit to Lou City. At the end of the day, the bombing down both wings has been absolutely top class. And the balls that have flown across Matt Van Oekel's box would be most worrying for both goalkeeper and coach. So if he does bring Tabor-Itaka off and put Moses wide on that left-hand side to try and block the runs, Moses Mensah, as you say, he's already moved Nwegbo here to the right side. So that's half the job. You've got to stop Lou City. The other half now, you've got to claw back 2 goals. So how they're going to do that is the question.
Adams. Good feature about him what Louisville City put out about his passion for the game and where it grew. Ball ahead, dragging through. Jansen Wilson will have to turn around. We'll get a second crack at this. Leans back. Morris. Nice grab in the stands.
Sign him up.
Wrong sport. Moses Mensah will come on, and Birmingham have seen enough. The substitution is brought to you by Fortna, and for Preston Tabor-Itaka, you feel for him, because you could argue this a bit of an unfamiliar position to be in, and just was not his day.
Yeah, it is tough, because you know, and everybody else knows, that you're the one that's been singled out as the problem, although the problem is not just on his side. It's, you know, it's the whole team has been struggling to stop Lou City from playing, but he's the one being replaced, so it's a tough one. But as you say, he's playing a little bit out of position, so he's been asked to do a job that he just technically wasn't able to do, and that again could be credit to Lou City, in particular Jake Morris bombing down that left-hand side early on.
Mensah didn't feature against Hartford, played 8 minutes at Phoenix in the opener for Birmingham. And again, you know, the card went in around 39:30 or so on the clock. So you're thinking, okay, 5, 6, 7, 8 minutes. Well, now you've made the change with less than 3 minutes remaining in the half, because the ball never stopped. As a result, you burned a window in the process. Now they'll see if they can make something from it. And Nwegbo continues, lofting over Pasher. Perez. Tummied through. Louisville's on one today. Morris seeking for Serrano. There's Van Oekel.
Well read by Van Oekel, but another fantastic ball in from Jake Morris. And you could see it bending at the end. It sort of curled in towards Ray Serrano, which gave Ray a little glimmer of hope for a moment, but the goalkeeper quick to read it and brave to dive at feet.
Tommy Sohn said that the team knew how he felt against Hartford all week long. I imagine it'll be a similar sentiment at halftime. Rolled centrally, Martinez turning, Kasim, Martinez. Enzo Martinez. Header snapped away, Tosh did the first, Perez further. And a run beyond Mensah.
That's much better from Birmingham Legion. Good play up front there. Prosper Kasim tries the shot, but Enzo does well. He goes as if to cross, and Kyle Adams dives in, and then he puts the ball in. A fantastic ball, whipped across the goal. Much better from Birmingham.
Serrano took it away and then appeared to get clopped on the foot. Stoppage time is presented by the Louisville Muhammad Ali International Airport. Referees have added 3 minutes to the half.
It's amazing how much of a psychological game this is, but the moment Tom Sohn made that change, Moses Mensah came on the left. Often Wegbo moved across the right-hand side. They look more solid immediately. They suddenly create a chance up front. Enzo Martinez whips one across the box, and at least they can go in at half-time feeling a little bit more positive. Birmingham Legion, the last few minutes have been much better from the visiting side.
Pasher. All knocked away, swung around by Perez. By the way, Harris going on this goal-scoring binge in the month of March. Not surprising given the binge he went on in September last year. Scored in 4 successive games against the Rowdies, San Diego, Miami, and Loudoun. So he's not quite breaking new ground yet. Morrison, the 13th. Off service from Davila, his first goal contribution for Louisville. Then Harris in the 35th.
Well, if Harris scores against Indy in that match that you've promoted a few times already, which is when?
It's April 6th, is this time next Saturday.
Fantastic. Watch out and see if he can make it 4 games in a row.
Yeah.
Why not? The way he's playing and the service he's getting from out wide, very possible.
Here's some guys as a free kick at a good spot for Birmingham in this final minute of the first half. Some guys you go, wow, they did it all on their own. Right now, the service into them has been exquisite. Take a look at the foul.
Jake Morris just giving it away, then misses the ball, connects with the player.
Missed the ball, did not miss in Wegbo.
Still got to concentrate, Lou City. You don't want to give one away just before halftime.
Birmingham could really swing the momentum right before the break, and they've got just the man they want on the ball. Pasher seeking Martinez. Halftime, we'll peek at the Louisville-Indianapolis Proximity Association football contest. All the footage that we have, right? With such a dated rivalry, some stuff has been lost to the sands of time. So take a look around the league, get you caught up on this Saturday in the championship. Long floated ball, Cronali got a piece. There is contact, the referee took a long look. And halftime has arrived here in Louisville. Wow. As Nwegbo remains down. But Wilson Harris scores yet again. The first in Louisville colors for Morris. And back-to-back first halves to remember for Louisville City.
A fantastic first half from Lou City. Brilliant, say it again, down the flanks. They were stunning. Gave Birmingham Legion an absolute headache. And that man there, Matt Van Oekel, probably really annoyed with his defenders, but changes made at the end that could change this match in the second half.
Louisville City 1.48 expected goals in that first half. Pasher, probably the closest chance of all from about 40 yards. Louisville's done all their business inside the 6. Louisville City, a 2-0 lead over this epic rival Birmingham. It's always been the thorn in their paw. A look at Lip FC and around the league coming. Louisville ahead by 2 at the intermission.
Hi, Shane Huffman with Neil Huffman Subaru on the Dixie, where this month, during the Subaru A Lot to Love event, we have interest rates as low as 1.9% financing, plus we have some amazing deals with incredible inventory. This is all going on now at Neil Huffman Subaru on the Dixie. Huffman has it.
When the Thompsons first bought their house, all they saw was their dream home. They didn't yet know that with a home equity line of credit from Commonwealth Credit Union, it would be their keys to epic cannonballs and the chance to see the world. As years went by, it allowed them to empower the next generation and make happily ever after come true. Which begs the question, what could your home be doing for you? Let's find out together. Commonwealth Credit Union. Here, we see you differently.
Welcome.
Welcome to WDRB Plus.
And now to your top 5 at 10, the stories you clicked on most on WDRB.com.
I'm Dalton Godby, and this is Crossroads.
It's time for this week's edition of Get Bet Smart.
Ownby charges, Ownby!
Hi, Shane Huffman with Neil Huffman Mazda on the Dixie, where this month we have interest rates as low as 1.9% financing, a huge selection, and some amazing deals. This is all going on now at Neil Huffman Mazda on the Dixie. Huffman has it.
Imagine yourself in a new Toyota. Imagine all the slopes you'll conquer.
Sick.
Imagine all the sights you'll see.
Wow.
Whoa. Okay, how about you imagine dropping me off?
Get a stylish new 24 Highlander with 4.75 APR financing, or get up to $1,000 APR cash on Grand Highlander, plus 2 years no-cost maintenance.
Ready, set, go get your Toyota today.
Toyota, let's go places.
Welcome back to USL Championship action on this Saturday, 1 week away from the broadcast network debut for the championship on CBS. And it's Lip FC getting the microscope, the Louisville Indianapolis Proximity Association football contest. Gary and I wanted to start, we aren't going to go through the black and white highlights of old. We're just going to jump right to 2019 Eastern Conference Final, one of the best conference finals we've seen.
Absolutely brilliant. Pasha giving Indy the lead there, but then Loose City would come fighting back. Pressure coming from set pieces, near post, little battle there. Comes out to Openo, sticks it in the back of the net, back on level terms.
Practically last kick of regulation. Openo saves Louisville's life in that 2019 conference final. Go to extra time. Be Magnus Rasmussen that got the first goal in the 94th. Spencer would get one too.
Little toe poke there from 15 yards does the trick. Ownby supplying into the box. A lovely little back heel. Toe poke, they're ahead. And then it would be a penalty at the other end that would finish this game off. Brian Ownby gets the ball in the box. Keeper absolutely takes him out. Does get the little bit of the ball, but referee says penalty. Up steps Spencer, and it's game over.
And Louisville would win the 2019 conference final with the old logo still in tow. 3-1 over Indy 11 and celebrate with the traveling support at the mic. Skip ahead a couple of years and contemplate what happened June 2021. This one of the highest scoring games between these teams, at least since the 1930s. 3-3. Del Piccolo gets the first.
What a clever one. Back heel. Ownby whips it in, but how do you get the angle on that? And they come firing back. And it's a header there from Cam Smith to get things on equal terms. But Loose City, time and time again, fighting back. Deflected shot ends up in the back of the net.
That's Jonathan Gomez. Nabil Hackshaw. That's a gorgeous finish from the Trinidad and Tobago International. It would start to get away a bit. Manuel Arteaga would give Indy the lead, but the last laugh belonged to Corbin Bone.
Oh, a near post. Just gets to the most subtle and faint of touches there. Brian Ownby creating that one, and what a fantastic game. 6 goals in all.
And let's skip ahead to last year. 2 meetings. First, it was Wilson Harris.
That's all it takes. One in the back of the net. Job done there.
And about 2 months later, it would be Winder and Lancaster that would lead to a similar frosty reception between Lowry and Cruz. Winder the first.
Yeah, he's going to get whipped in, and Wind is more or less on his own there to tap in, or that bumps off one or two of his right leg, his left leg, but he doesn't mind. It still ends up in the back of the net, and they kept that pressure going, Lou City. That's why there's so much aggro between the two teams. I guess Lou City keep rupturing the heart of Indy with those crucial goals. Cam Lancaster, who else?
And so Louisville City will try and keep the good momentum going when they see Indy 11 next Saturday. Hopefully we can fill the fam. Devin and I will be in town. It's going to be quite the occasion on CBS, the Louisville-Indianapolis Proximity Association football contest. We've got plenty more coming up here between the Legion and Lou City after these messages and a word from your local station.
You'll get it, Doug.
When termites show up, so do we. Terminix it.
You've given us a foundation to be proud of. We build on this now. This is it now, gents. This is us from now on.
We all have goals. But let's be honest, most of us aren't going to be professional athletes. But if your goal is to finish your degree, we can help. Come to a university that puts your goals first. Bellevue University, your partner in finishing goals.
Yeah, we running the game. We're coming in strong, and you will not forget it. We're here to take you on, and we can fight and we defend it. We never looking back, we focused on the road. We didn't come to play, and now we never let it go. Yeah, we want to take it higher.
Follow up in! Louisville level in the 70th. He puts it in. Indy 11 leads on the road.
Yeah, we want to take it higher.
Looks great.
When termites show up, so do we. Terminix it.
Imagine yourself in a new Toyota.
Imagine all the slopes you'll conquer.
Sick.
Imagine all the sights you'll see.
Wow. Whoa. Okay, how about you imagine dropping me off?
Imagine yourself in the legendary 4Runner with the best resale value in its class. Lease this new 24 4Runner now for $439 a month with 2 years no-cost maintenance.
Ready, set, go get your Toyota today.
Toyota, let's go places.
Back in Louisville, the wind is whipping. Maybe the winds had changed. Louisville City 2-0 up, and they look as good as any team around the championship. Let's get you caught up on news and notes from the championship and beyond. Did you hear that Louisville is playing Indy on CBS next Saturday? I know. The USL also announced plans 2026 bring a championship and a Super League team potentially to Buffalo up in upstate New York. Not quite Rochester, but there is something to be said for there's been great support for the game up in that neck of the woods. And then Alan Gavilane's incredible performance, a brace against Orange County for Miami FC. That earns you Team of the Week nod. Alan Marcina from San Antonio earns Coach of the Week. Serrano's in there.
Yeah, deserves to be as well. Mark Koenig from Charleston up there on the right, and Sean Toshin as well at centre back. So two players there for Lou City. Important for Birmingham Legions to start getting their players on the board as well.
And Anderson Asiadu, the former Birmingham player, earning honors against, well, Birmingham with Hartford. Here's the national broadcast schedule for April into May for the championship. ESPN will start popping up later. It's a ton of stuff on CBS Sports, starting with that opening game, but also Charleston and Louisville later that week is tantalizing.
Yeah, two good matches there for Louisville City fans to watch. And the match against Indy is the second game at home after this one and following Pittsburgh. So If they get a result here today, they're at home against ND. They could be well clear at the top by then.
Take a look at the rest of the schedule tonight of note. Go to CBS Sports Golazo Network and catch Indy. Start your scout now. They'll see Detroit. That's free on the CBS Sports app. Rowdies, Rhode Island. That's a good game.
Yeah, Rhode Island are beginning to find their feet in the new division, and Orange County, Tulsa later. Orange County, I tell you what, they're looking good. They could go all the way. Oakland possibly struggling a little bit. Sac Republic always good. And Phoenix, the champions, picking up their first win in their last match. So good to see them back and hitting form.
And Phoenix, New Mexico, the two best friends anyone's ever had. That's worth the price of admission. It seems like the party's ongoing here worth the price of admission. Louisville is in control. Birmingham will try and turn the tide. The second half you won't want to miss is coming up here in the Commonwealth of Kentucky.
Typical insurance? You're just another senior.
That is the third health insurance commercial with seniors at a farmer's market.
Right? Don't get me wrong, I love a fresh heirloom, but it's like those companies think we're all the same.
That's why I chose Humana. Before I signed up, I spoke to someone who actually listened to what I needed. She told me about benefits that were right for me, like vision and dental, all in my budget. I finally feel in control. What are you doing?
Taking control.
Humana, a more human way to healthcare.
Imagine yourself in a new Toyota.
Yeah.
Sick.
Whoa.
Oh, yeah.
Get a powerful new 24 Tundra and get up to $1,500 customer cash. Or choose APR financing as low as 2.25%. Or get a great low lease on Tundra.
Ready, set, go get your Toyota today.
Toyota. Let's go places.
On April 8th, a total solar eclipse is visible in our area, but you need ISO-approved eclipse glasses to view it safely.
You can get a pair of our WDRB glasses at all Scooters Coffee locations to keep your family safe during the event.
Make sure to get your ISO-approved WDRB Eclipse glasses at all Scooters Coffee locations. Get a free pair when you purchase a specialty drink or Scoot Energy. Additional glasses can be purchased for $2 each, while supplies last.
Welcome.
Welcome
to WDRB Plus.
And now to your top 5 at 10, the stories you clicked on most on WDRB.com.
I'm Dalton Godby, and this is Crossroads.
It's time for this week's edition of Get Bet Smart.
Ownby charges, Ownby! Let's take a look at our first half highlights, of which there were many. Louisville City on the front foot from the opening gun tonight. Starting the 13th minute, Morris had just put in an excellent cross. He'd be on the finishing end of this.
Yeah, it's a good ball whipped in from out wide on the right-hand side by Taylor Davila, and Jake Morris, as you said, he'd been the one putting the ball in the box. This time he gets on the end of it. Got to question the marking. They were trying to get him in, in an offside position, but he timed his run really well, and nothing that Matt Van Oekel could do to stop that one going in.
Ahead to the 35th minute, and Wilson Harris gets into the action yet again.
Now Perez bombing forward, finds Jansen Wilson out wide on the right here, and he just knocks it in first time, doesn't muck about. Wilson Harris back heel, drags it because he couldn't get a shot with his right foot. It was blocked. So brilliant soccer IQ, drags it back. Have a look here. Goes to shoot with his right, he's getting blocked, comes back on his left and hooks it into the near corner, sending Matt Van Oekel the wrong way. Good finish from Wilson Harris.
Goals in 3 consecutive games. Louisville will make a sub at halftime and bring Sam Gleadle into the game. Will replace Jansen Wilson. And Stefano Pino has come on at halftime to replace Perez for Birmingham. On to the second half we go. We'll see whether or not Birmingham can turn the tables here. If there is good news for Birmingham, this is going to start bad and end up good, I promise. Louisville is unbeaten in their last 6 games when leading at halftime going back to July of last year. It was Birmingham 2-1 that upended Louisville in that performance. So perhaps history can in fact repeat itself. Pino for Perez, that sub brought to you by Fortna. That is Birmingham's second sub, but they don't have to utilize one of the substitution windows to do it by doing it at halftime. For Louisville, they'll have 4 subs remaining and all 3 windows. Launched over, there's Gleedle, who played as a striker last week. And Tola's shown me not in the lineup again this week after a knock. He is available, but did not make the bench. So Gleedle's versatility allows Louisville to look at their bench a little bit differently. Launch toward Harris.
Yeah, he did some good play for Monterey Bay in certain positions. Again, that flexibility to be a wing back at times before Monterey Bay, before he left to come here to Lou City. Just surprised that Jansen Wilson came off. I thought he'd had a very good first half. Maybe he's picked up a knock. Maybe he's just running out of gas or whatever. But whatever, I thought his first half was excellent. Put some fantastic ball in there. And for Birmingham Legion, well, Thompson, the second change there, Stefano Pino, it's a positive one. Pino playing in an attack position and is basically saying to his players, you know, go out there and have a go.
Pasher, that got by Adams. And Wegbo's available. Swung back across. Loss went out for it. Nobody got anything, it appeared. That's a goal kick.
It might have been the goalkeeper just did enough to put the striker off there. What another good ball. What a difference. Birmingham here at the very beginning. Stefano Pino almost on the end of that. But Damien Lass coming out there just maybe forced the striker to take his eye off the ball and maybe just couldn't quite reach it. But if Thompson wanted a quick second half reaction, he's got it from this Birmingham side on the front foot, knocking ball into the box and putting Damien Lass under pressure.
And I'll throw a quick idea out here about Jansen Wilson. You go back to the opening day performance at El Paso. Now, to be fair, small field, right? A little different than this wide park here in Louisville, but they have 4 players on yellow cards. Danny Cruz told me the following week, we didn't take him off at halftime because he didn't play well. It's because we didn't want to risk him already being on a yellow card. So that may come into it as well, and being up 2 goals, perhaps just his 3rd professional game, a chance to give him a moment. Enzo Martinez standing over top of an injured Louisville player as the 2 got tied up.
Referee Callan Radisov very quick there to ensure that there was nothing that got out of hand.
Fanuel Kavita trying to explain the Birmingham side of this argument.
I didn't see anything on. I think Enzo has just fallen on top of him afterwards and gets pushed off, but he didn't mean to.
No.
And hopefully there'll be no long-term damage. But back to your point, I think it's you probably are 100% right with Jansen Wilson being on a yellow, and that maybe that's the reason why he's taken off. I thought he might have played him a little bit longer, given him another 10-15 minutes first, but why risk it if you're 2-0 up and you've got someone like Sam Gleedle who you want to see play in that position? Ideal opportunity for Danny Cruz to see what Sam can do.
Now, I'm not sure that a segment of this crowd really wants to hear a lot of praise for referees. But of course, the USL referees have been in play all year. They haven't had any issues CBA-wise. The MLS officials just coming back to work this week after missing the first month while they hammered out a contract. I bring that up because one of the new rules MLS put in this year, if you don't get off the field within a certain amount of time or get up on the case of an injury within 15 seconds, you have to leave the field to be attended to. The team has to play without you for some period of time, perhaps longer than what we've been used to seeing, where you come off and get the nod and you're immediately back into the game. I'd be intrigued moving forward to get your thought on that. However, a 5th, 3rd free kick, as Harris will have to come out and get the nod on this attacking set piece. Feigning, firing, and that's an attempt to get it back across the face. Never happened. But an attempt to try and take flopping out of the game, and that's not a case of that there. But the excessive sort of time wasting, try and knock that out. I actually appreciate, now that the officials are in, that MLS would like to see implement those rules, they will come into play this coming week. I think it's going to be fascinating.
Yeah, interested to see how it works. I mean, if you get kicked and you get hurt, then you've got to go off for a longer period of time. It seems to be against you. But it's maybe the only way to stop all the flopping and writhing around that players do, especially when they're leading with 10 minutes to go. So, yep, at least they're trying, MLS. That's what's good about this.
Well, this is Bright from Birmingham. Blocks Serrano trying to deal with it. Kasim able to pull it in. Martinez. And Wegbo shoved off the end by Morris.
Interesting, Enzo now dropping to a more attacking midfield role as opposed to the sort of main striker. And I think that's, for me, I'm more comfortable with him there. I'm not saying he can't play that lead role, but he struggled in the first half to have any impact. And now when he plays behind strikers, he's so clever with those through balls that he could be the one to put Stefano Pino into a goal-scoring position.
Smashed ahead by Martinez. It's Winder. Winder navigating. Perez. We'll reset. We'll tell you eFootball 2024 is here. Live your dream, rep your team. Play as your favorite USL Championship club. eFootball is free to play, so download now. What does it take to get you playing pixelated video games?
Yeah, I'm not going to answer that because it's probably not going to happen.
It's not a knock on eFootball, it's a knock on you.
It is. I'm old school. I'm still playing chess.
That's one of the things you asked me today. Do you play chess? And the answer should have been not against you, because anyone who bothers to ask that question is already better than you at chess. And I don't doubt that in life you see more moves down the line than I do. But maybe that's youthful naivety, but yeah, I'm more likely to be on eFootball than you know, moving knight to queen's 11 or whatever.
Let's just say there's a substantial gap in age between you and me.
Substantial enough that this eFootball conversation carries enough weight. And so Martinez able to clip it inside. This has been a lot more incisive from Birmingham. The ball really moving. Ball lobbed across, was seeking Pasher, and that's a smart play from Gleedle.
Credit Thompson here. He must have wound them up at halftime in the locker room and said to them, you know what, have a go. I don't care if you lose 2-0 or 3-0. Losing is losing. I want to see if you can come back in this match, if you can at least get one goal back and get some excitement into our game. And they certainly have responded here.
Enzo Martinez. Loss had to dip back into goal. Pasher pursued. Bouncing ball through. That knocked down. Ladled off. Over by Patterson and wide from Kavita. Into the area, Adams. Into space. Held onside by the halfway line. Harris. He's got a goal already. Harris layers it across. Serrano blocked. Kavita saving Birmingham's bacon 10 minutes into the half on the counter.
That is a fantastic counter-attack. The ball just knocked up long. Well done, Kyle Adams, for getting it to Wilson Harris, who, as you said, ran from midfield, so from inside his own half, so he wasn't offside. But look at the ground race Serrano's made up to get into a great position and just blocked as he was pulling the trigger there.
5-5 corner kick. Harris was backpedaling. They'll try from the other side.
And again, we get that combination we spoke about of Wilson Harris and Ray Serrano, two young players who really are connecting so well and have been a threat throughout this match to Birmingham Legion.
Perez, 10 goals last year for San Diego. Perez bouncing. That header left something to be desired. Now Ordonez, the push on Cronali that stymies the play.
Crowd don't like it. Lots of boos. Let's have a look at it from this side. Ball gets knocked up here. Cronali just throws himself forward. I don't know how much contact there is there, but I guess once the centre-back flies through the air and lands on the floor, the referee's almost got no choice but to give the free kick. And again, it's one of those that referees will have to look closely at, because more and more centre-backs seem to go to ground whenever there's a set piece around and try and win the free kick.
Kasim spun off of Adams. And Radisov, the referee, telling Adams a little too much lip.
Yeah, it is a foul. He hasn't got the ball, has he? Kyle Adams got the player. I don't think there's any doubt. Clever little turn from Prosper Kasim.
It's a good word for Kasim. Clever.
Yes. Good football IQ.
Away from Pino. Harris, full 360. Starts to trot forward. There's Enzo Martinez. That's a foul. Free kick, Louisville City at the cusp of the final third.
Again, Enzo in that deeper role here, doing some of the defensive work as well. Sort of goes for both ball and ankle at the same time. So in his mind, he probably feels he got enough of the ball. Referee's mind, no, you didn't.
Be a fifth third free kick coming for Louisville. When he's done playing, I'm confident Enzo Martinez is going to be a great defense attorney.
I assume he still has to qualify as a lawyer?
I don't think he's passed the bar yet.
Yeah.
I suppose that's a good barrier to entry. Serrano steps over. Morris looked familiar. They tried to pasture him.
Again, just a little bit too high, and that long-range shot just didn't dip enough, did it? You can see Matt Van Oekel not really even bothered at the end of it. Didn't feel that that was going to be a threat to his goal.
No knock on Damian Loss, but a little less of a known commodity in the championship. Obviously, in Next Pro has done great things. And Van Oekel, I don't know that he's ever been caught on one of those. You were not going to surprise the wily vet.
37 years of age and still fit, still able to throw himself around the goals. Brave as a lion coming out of feet first half. That's impressive for a man of his age. And you've got players on the bench here who are teenagers who, I mean, he could be old enough to be their father very comfortably. You've got Ramiz Hamoud at 15 years of age on the bench.
The head here for Harris. Harris, right at Papa Van Oekel.
You said it, not me. I don't want him getting upset with me.
Sorry, Matt. Here comes Birmingham. They've moved quickly. We're going to see this ricochet back out. Pasher. Bouncing ball. Loss. Be fair is a spry 21.
Gets his chest behind the ball here, Luss, which is so good. When you go with your hands, there's always a chance it can go through. If you can get your body behind the ball, then you're pretty secure. But Birmingham Legion, they get one now. They're back in this game. They're much, much better side in the second half.
We're going forward again. This has Martinez out of sorts. Harris never got to Gleedle. It's a seeing eye ball through midfield, picked up by Pino.
Sort of end to end now, isn't it? Birmingham are attacking. Loose City are saying, will you attack us? We'll counter-attack you. And it took a few sort of tired bodies in purple to get themselves back in defensive positions there.
This portion of today's match is presented by Toyota. And the Kentuckiana Toyota dealers. Harris got popped. Advantage played. Given the way Perez turned around, are you okay with the referee saying, no, I gave advantage, it's up to you to use it?
Yes, and I think Perez was probably just playing for time to give also, oh, that's a foul.
Yep.
And a yellow.
Yeah, this is not a question of advantage. Tyler Pasher, his first yellow card of the year. But I promise, not his last.
Well, he gets stuck in, he does, Tyler Pasher, give him credit, but I think a little bit of frustration. Yeah, that's the ball's already gone, so that's just him getting annoyed with the match. In fact, they can't get back into this game. They can't find a goal, Birmingham, and he's frustrated.
I was talking with a movie star friend of ours, or at least portrayed as a movie star. By a movie star? Is that the best way to put it?
Go on, and?
Was working in the academy in Toronto at the time that Tyler Pasher was there. Touch on that in a moment. Perez, that's smashed away. I don't think Michael Fassbender saw him sleeping around the facility. I mean, talk about a guy who was just so fully focused on being a professional footballer while he was in Toronto. And Pasher, seeing his come up, warms your heart knowing how much went into making it happen in the first place. You talk about 29 years old, you said in the open, now he's entering his prime. All the knowledge he's gained, all the experience that he's had, Birmingham's about to get his best years in theory.
And if not Birmingham, perhaps even back to MLS, because he's got the ability.
No doubt. This will whittle away from Mensah, deflected by Gleedle, corner.
Again, this match is sitting on a knife edge. A Birmingham goal and they're right back in it. If they throw too many bodies forward, Lou City catch them on the counter attack, and it's 3-0 and it's game over. Nervous tension on both benches, I'm sure.
Header up, Crognale. Whoa, whoa, whoa. You can understand he's going for the ball. This is also very obviously a yellow card.
I don't think it was ever on because the defender was in front of Crognale, so
right.
He wasn't blind to where the player was. He could see him and still went through with it. It's another player for Birmingham Legion on a yellow card. Let's have a look at it again. As it goes up, he gets up and he can see the defender going to head the ball. He's just continued with his attempted overhead kick. I say you should never let defenders try and do overhead kicks. It's just it's not a natural thing. That's all I can say.
Well, he doesn't get a goal, but he does get a bone-dry roofing yellow card. So now he and Pasher on cards. Of course, talking about the great Thomas Rongen. Was involved in Pasher's development in Toronto.
There's the link, nicely done, with Michael Fassbender, who played Thomas Rongen in the movie.
Yep.
Last Goal Wins. Have you seen the movie?
I have not yet.
It's well worth seeing.
So you've told me.
Very emotional, very meaningful movie, but also portrays soccer. And so if you're a soccer fundi, and I've even asked my wife to watch, because I think it's a movie that women could watch as well. Those who, well, not necessarily women, but those who don't follow soccer might enjoy watching.
And it's not a Ted Lasso feel-good story in the sense that everything is largely meant to make you feel good at the end. It goes through sort of a lot of ebb and flow to get there.
There's a lot of downs and probably not as many ups for Mr. Thomas Rongen, but
you and I have spent enough time around him. He's up now, so it's all worked out in the end, I suppose.
And delighted for him as well.
Yeah. Room out there if Kasim can keep it in. The bigger problem is he was able to keep it in but needed to touch it away to get there. Adams into Loss, sprays that out. Ball across toward Harris! Close range! 4 goals in 3 games! Unreal! And Louisville's up by 3!
Well, that should do it now. That should be game, set, and match. And Wilson Harris has just put the sword in once again. A finishing touch from the man who, as you say now, probably leads the scoring charts. I can't see anybody being above him by the end of this weekend. But the service that has come in from Lou City from out wide has been absolutely exceptional, especially from Ray Serrano. Brilliant down the wings and whips this one in. Defenders, goalkeepers don't get to it. I'm thinking defender first and foremost. You've got to stay touch tight with the striker. But Matt van Oekel comes and he can't get to it either. And Wilson Harris has effectively put this game to bed.
Jack loves it. It's not quite being Grammy nominated, but it's not that far off. It's really not. I don't understand that at all, but I think. That goal presented by Kentucky Lottery, fueling imagination, funding education, the Kentucky Lottery. Serrano goes in. You know, the thing about this is, for Louisville, it's contagious. So much of last year just felt like they were going uphill. It was injuries, it was the attack not entirely clicking, just never felt like they were all cylinders go. These last 2 games at home, this is the Louisville of old. This is super impressive.
It certainly is. And yet that team of last season still got to the
Conference final again.
Yeah, it's amazing what they were able to achieve. But you're right, it's just got something extra this year so far. I mean, we're still early days. Oh, that's going to be a yellow unnecessarily.
Yep, Winder is booked. Bone dry roofing yellow to Winder. He joins Wilson, who, of course, now on the bench in Louisville players being carded.
It's in a tough situation for Birmingham. It's great for Lou City. You would think they should go on to win this, and if they do, it'll be 3 wins out of 3 with another home game to come against Indy. Have we mentioned that?
Yeah.
But for Birmingham, it'll be the 2nd loss in a row if this result holds. And yet they've yet to score a goal. The only goal they've got was an own goal.
Right.
So that's frustrating.
Pasher. Oh, what a ball that is. Oh, what a save. Loss. Denies Enzo Martinez. Ridiculous save from Loss. And now foul at the far touchline. Serrano is upended.
Wow, you're right. This is an unbelievable save here. Throws his body in. Enzo Martinez must have thought that was a certain goal. I was just saying they haven't scored a goal, and I thought, there you go, it's going to happen. The ball knocked down by Kavita. But still, Damien Lass throwing his body there, and they've yet to score a goal themselves, Birmingham. Wow, what else do they have to do?
It is one of those days for Birmingham. At this point, you could say it's been one of those weeks. And look, if you're Tom Sohn, you've been there and done that. You've done it as an assistant, as a head coach, as an interim. Everywhere you've been, you've won. This isn't going to faze you. The guys like Kavita, Martinez, Pasher, yellow card handed for that kick in by Davila. His 2nd yellow of the year. That's a bone dry roofing card.
Yeah, Sohn's not going to panic. He's too good a coach to do that.
Yeah.
But it still leaves you with a lot of work to do. It's got tough matches coming up. Birmingham, you said Loudon at home, you would think they'd do well, but North Carolina away, Miami away, Memphis home. You can get yourself into a rut fairly quickly. So he'll need to turn this around, but he's got the players to do it, and he knows how to do it. And to be fair, this is not an easy match, you know, lose City away. So there's no disgrace to come here and lose.
The fact that Birmingham's record is as good as it is in Louisville is the anomaly historically.
Yeah.
Very few teams come here and dominate matches the way Birmingham from time to time have. Van Oekel.
And again, in fairness to Birmingham, if you were to say to their fans, you've got Phoenix away, the champions, then you've got Hartford, and then you've got Lou City away, you'd probably say, wow, we'd be lucky to get something against Phoenix and lucky to get something against Lou City. So 3 points on the board from those 3 matches, and given how good Hartford is, it probably isn't as bad a start as you might think.
Subs brought to you by Fortna. Harris, 2 goals. Elijah Winder comes off. He was on a yellow card. Niall McCabe into the game. And a wonderful moment to see Jorge Gonzalez get in as well. So the Louisville OG checks in. Out goes an Academy product and a former Young Player of the Year. And talk about depth. Bring Jorge Gonzalez into this game, who's just dealt with injury after injury. Just unfortunate at every step here in Louisville. And McCabe, who the last 2 seasons has been largely truncated by injury. Those are the guys you get to bring in off the pine. Try and see out the final 20 minutes or so. Louisville still have 2 subs remaining and 2 windows. They made 1 at halftime. So we could potentially see the debut of Hayden Stamps the way this is starting to shape up. Get the young 16-year-old into the game, perhaps. And, you know, with Louisville, we've seen, right, Josh Winder, guy that came right through the grassroots of Kentucky. Jonathan Gomez, you brought him in from Dallas and finished the job of developing him into a professional from the academy ranks. This wheeled around by Kobe Hernandez Foster. So Louisville's gone about it a bunch of different ways, getting young players in and helping them thrive. As this scooped up, there's something on here. Little back heel return. Layered on. There's the 4th. This is an onslaught. Taylor Davila's first for Louisville City.
Good finish from Davila. Hits that ball hard and low. Right past Matt Van Oekel. Nothing again the goalkeeper could do, but lovely setup and just a very, very comfortable build-up for Lou City. Have a look here as they start with Perez. And he's got his head up, he's looking for options, gets it back there, and Perez just puts it in the pass of Taylor Davila from a fairly tight angle. Manages to get it past Van Oekel just because of the pace, through the goalkeeper's legs, in fact, just pace and power. And this is turning out to be a fantastic day for the boys in purple.
Perez, first assist in purple. First goal for Davila, who got his first assist on the opening goal to Morris. That goal is presented by Kentucky Lottery, fueling imagination, funding education, the Kentucky Lottery. This is the best back-to-back games I've seen from Louisville in a year. I mean, this is jaw-dropping stuff. That's really good out of pressure. Gonzalez plays inside. Hey, Louisville 2024 ticket packages are available now. Lou City's next home match, April the 6th. It's at 4 p.m. We'd rather you be here than watching on CBS, but you could do either. Bring your family and friends. Lynn Family Stadium as the boys in purple face Indy 11. Tickets available, loucity.com/tickets. Their well-attended game in Louisville. These 4 o'clock starts, early season, long overdue. This is, maybe it's just because the sun keeps shining that it's become so clear that this was the way, but fans have really enjoyed it.
I bet they have, and I bet they've also enjoyed the fact that the players that they've brought in, well, that could also be a yellow card.
Yep.
No, it's getting a bit chippy now. Frustration from Birmingham Legion, but Perez goes down. He's one of the new players. AJ Patterson bringing him down and getting the yellow card. But he had an assist, did Perez, as you mentioned, for the Taylor Davila goal. Taylor Davila is a player they brought in, goal and assist here. Jake Morris scored. Jansen Wilson set up Wilson Harris for the second. These are all players that have been brought in by Danny Cruz and his staff. So when players arrive and they have that sort of impact, you've got to credit the coaching staff for finding those players, bringing them in and getting them to settle into the rest of the team. So well done there to Lou City. This is an exciting team they've created here.
It's starting to get difficult, by the way, but you can head to Twitter, vote on tonight's Lynn Family Sports Vision Training Man of the Match. Poll open the next 10 minutes. Vote now, twitter.com/LouCityFC. And if you look at some of the decisions last year in the transfer portal, market didn't really work out quite as well. Fifth, third free kick here for Louisville. Could they really tack on a fifth? Well, not like that, they won't.
No.
Oh, and it injured the banner. I mean, but look, not to say that Martin Powell's won't work somewhere, but you and I were looking at each other 3-4 games into that and going, something's amiss here. All the data made sense, but it didn't necessarily translate to this league, which is difficult, or to this team, which is extraordinarily difficult to predict.
Yeah. He was a good player with his feet, Martin Powell's, funny enough, for someone who was, what, 6'8"? He wasn't that good with his head, so it was a strange player, and hopefully he's gone on somewhere else to be a lot more successful.
But the point in saying that is the recruitment, it seems, early days, they've nailed it.
Absolutely. And all we can do is judge on what we've seen so far. Now, there's a long way to go in this season. Things could still turn around.
Perez. That knocked down. He may have a second bite at this apple. Knocked away by Martinez, and there's Davila. But like Davila was great at RGV. Career year comes in, and it looks like he's settled right into this midfield. You've got Perez. You saw him a bunch with San Diego. You saw him on this field with San Diego in recent years. He's made a substantial impact. It's the pieces have fit.
Oh, absolutely. Jake Morris, I thought, was great early on in the match. Arturo Ordonez has been fantastic. Another yellow card.
That's Kavita.
But be careful, Birmingham Legion. They don't get a red to go with this. It's a bad enough day as it is. But there's a long way to go, Mike. We can get excited about Lou City now. I've no doubt that Danny Cruz will be saying to them, hey, guys, keep your feet on the ground. And conversely, Tom Sohn will say, yep, we've lost 2 of the opening 3, but they were all hard matches. And, guys, we can easily bounce back and go on to have a great season. So it's way too early to be, oh, here's your hope and wish to see this young man.
17-year-old Birmingham, Alabama native signed his USL Academy deal on January the 26th. Prosper Kasim exits, and a prospering young player, Finn Calloway, comes in off the bench. The 4th Birmingham player to sign a USL Academy deal, a champion in Alabama at Mountain Brook High School, and now making his professional debut for the Legion in Louisville. You know, you and I had a chance to chat a little bit with both these coaches over the years, but in particular this week about how you develop young players and the correct pathway to do it. You obviously come from a different place in the world where the way you develop players really is from the earliest academy ages different. But Birmingham's getting to the point where they can start really pulling some genuine nutrients out of that soil.
Oh, absolutely, and that's the way to do it. And Tom Sohn was saying, or agreeing with us, that since the academies arrived, they've allowed young players to, like the one that got on the bench, Ramiz Hamoud, is 15. So they become professionals or have contracts, academy contracts early on, and they focus on that. Going to college is great, and if you get the opportunity, I always say take it. But that generally overseas is not how you become a pro. You can become a pro at the earliest possible age, and that's your life, and you live it, and you play it every day. And that's what allows you to go to those higher levels. So they've got a 17-year-old who's already playing and making his mark and planning for a great future. And well done, Birmingham.
In the penalty area, ball to the backside will go swinging wide of Las. And to your point, you know, part of the reason I brought it up, I had just spoken to Laura Harvey, the head coach of the NWSL side out in Seattle, and she's describing with the new under-18 mechanism in that league, allowing younger players in really for the first time in any substantial nature, you need to be ready as an organization to tell a 15-year-old and his parents, we're going to develop you on and off the field. And I trust Danny Cruz or Tommy Sohn to do that, but the organization has to be ready for that too. There's an immense responsibility to say, I'm going to bring a 15, 16, 17-year-old boy into a room full of men competing for their livelihood and help them move forward in their career in a way that benefits all parties.
Yeah, you have to protect the youngster. So you're right, you do have to have all the right systems in place.
Now McCabe, Serrano, goal! Ray Serrano scores again. 5-0. An absolute Louisvillian avalanche to close out the month of March.
And well deserved by Ray Serrano. I thought he's been absolutely fantastic. For me, probably the man of the match. His efforts and what he was able to create in the first half was top class. He's been involved with most of the attacks. He's always available. Keeps himself onside there. I wasn't quite sure, and they certainly appealed Birmingham Legion, but it seems that he just kept himself onside. What about the finish? Hits it over and above Matt Van Oekel, right beneath the crossbar in the back of the net. He had a fabulous game last time out against Pittsburgh, scoring and winning a penalty, and he's been even better here today. This man is really at the top of his form, and he's only 21 years of age. What a happy day for Lou City fans.
That goal is presented by Kentucky Lottery, fueling imagination, funding education, the Kentucky Lottery. And a sub at the stoppage sees Mujib Marana into the game. Jake Roof comes in as well. And these subs brought to you by Fortna. That's it for Patterson. And Cronali get their 2 yellow card carrying center backs out. Kavita will have to stay in. Louisville's preparing a sub as well. Those are 2 eerily similar runs. Pasher's going to try and do this himself. He may have. I'm going to see this ultimately pulled off his foot by Taylor Davila. Whistle's gone here. The sub sees Evan Davila into the game. End of the night for Perez. You know, I think you use FOTMob quite a bit, right?
Yep.
They do player ratings. Is that out of 5 out of 10 that they typically do?
I can't remember what it is.
If it's a 10, no one's under an 8 on this Louisville team today.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, this is total team effort. This is top to bottom.
I mean, the goalkeeper's made a great save to stop what looked a certain goal from Enzo Lass. So you've got to give him, you know, an 8 out of 10 at least. But it's a perfect day, and maybe there'll be days when it isn't perfect. And again, the Lou City staff, they're more than aware that there'll be plenty of downs to come. But all you can do is look at what they've done so far. 3 wins, or 3 games rather, and 3 wins, because there's no way this is not going to be a win. They've got a match at home against Indy where they can make it 4 out of 4 on home turf here at Lynn Family Stadium. They've got a whole bunch of experienced players they can bring off the bench. Right now, it is looking so good for the boys in purple.
And what a time to do it. A run of home games to really establish yourself. This will be the 3rd time in 10 years that Louisville has started with 9 points out of the possible 9. Only once if they ever started with 4 consecutive victories.
If I'm not mistaken, the last time they won 3 out of 3, they went on to win the league title that year. Was that?
Well, they did it in 2022.
2018.
But they also, yes.
Yeah, went on to win the title.
Ball through now. Gonzalez pings that across. Serrano was lurking. Nearly struck that off the post. Louisville scoring 5 goals in a game for the first time since April 2022 against the Loyal, aren't satisfied.
Is number 14, Wilson Harris.
I certainly wouldn't want to be at training, at Birmingham Legion's training in a day or two's time when they go over the tape from this match and discuss some of their defensive frailties, because they really have allowed a lot of pressure to come onto their goalkeeper, Matt Van Oekel. He's had to early on make a few good saves. And I guess Alex Cronyale, AJ Patterson, Famuel Kavita at the heart of that defense. They will not be happy about the scoreline at all. And there's going to be, you know, as there is in professional soccer, there's a bit of finger pointing, a bit of you could have done better, well, you could have done this. But you need to spit all that out, get it on the table, and then get everything right and working better for the next game. So some tough days ahead, I would reckon, for the Birmingham Legion squad.
And the nature of this league is there isn't a gimme anymore.
Yeah.
You aren't going to run across Red Bull 2 and go, huh, finally we can take a breath.
Yeah. Yeah, all those two teams have gone. Loudon is now a proper team as well.
Right, so in the past you might go, oh, the team up from League One and Loudon are our next two games. Time to go put some hay in the barn. That's not a guarantee.
Absolutely.
Is there more here scoring-wise? Reaching the end line, Murana. And that's probably the biggest concern we've had yet. Morris is down at the end line and very slowly getting back up. I should tell you that tonight's Lynn Family Sports Vision and Training Man of the Match, thankfully got to take the last 20 minutes off. Wilson Harris, 2 goals, and adding to his tally, 36th and 66th minute, has 4 on the young season. Kobe Hernandez Foster over the ball, the 21-year-old from LA. The near post, McCabe trying to make peace with loss. Sorry, you didn't call me off in time.
Well, they want to keep the clean sheet, Lou City. That also is great from, you know, for defenders. You rack up as many clean sheets as you possibly can. They've got one already away at El Paso.
Service in again. Loss. This time had to do the job himself.
And they just conceded the 1 goal against Pittsburgh. So long as they don't concede here, it'll be 3 games, 1 goal conceded, 9 scored. That is not a bad way to start the season.
Louisville trying to make a change here. That would see a team debut, a pro debut, in the dying embers of this game. In behind, step over, Pino, sliding effort. Arturo Ordonez wants that clean sheet. He wants it bad.
Yeah, great defensive effort from Lou City, putting their bodies on the line, running as much as they can, giving everything they've got in that tank to keep that clean sheet. And when you're 5-0 up, that's very impressive.
That's the reigning defensive player of the year and the mentality he'll bring you. This is going to run out of play, and that'll bring us to a stoppage. Louisville will go to their bench. This should get a good applause. Jake Morris coming out. Hayden Stamps, the 16-year-old out of Kentucky Country Day. An all-Kentucky high school player out of the Louisville City Academy. They've talked about how they've seen his personality through preseason, that he was ready, officially signed 9 days ago. And making his professional debut in front of the home faithful in his hometown, Lynn Family Stadium in Louisville. Ball scooped up and run forward by Callaway. However, the wires were crossed. To some extent, you feel bad for Stamps. You get in the 90th minute, it's 5-0. The game's a bit done and dusted, but the referee comes out of nowhere and drops a 4-minute hammer on all of us. Stoppage time is presented by Louisville Muhammad Ali International Airport.
Well, I guess for Hayden Stamps, you come on 5-0 up, the match is won. You're not having to, you know, have to score, have to get things back on equal terms. You can just go out there and enjoy the moment. And I guess Conversely, for Finn Callaway, the 17-year-old, you're 5-0 down. So, again, just go out there. I'm sure both coaches have said to these young players, go out, have fun, enjoy the moment, you know, make your debuts and experience the emotion of it. And nothing you have to do, nothing you can do at this stage.
Maybe there's something left for Louisville to add. I'm intrigued by the new rules that have occurred around rostering 2 additional players that were signed under the age of 18 or on academy deals at any age. You're now allowed to go 20 on your game day roster if you're the home team if 2 players tick those boxes, one or the other. So it allows some of these younger players, maybe with a full bench of only 18, Stamps perhaps doesn't make the team sheet, and this occasion passes by. He never gets this opportunity. And even if it does end up being a 1-goal affair late in the game and he doesn't play, at least you've got him around the team, absorbing the tactics, the pomp, the circumstance, being around the pros, being in the locker room with them. That's one way to really supercharge someone's progression.
It absolutely is, and what it does, it helps you when you actually go to make your debut. If you've been on the bench and you've experienced it, the day you get to play, you actually kid up and you've been in that locker room before. You're not panicking. You know exactly how it goes. You know that there's some dark humor from the players because they're a bit nervous. So, you know, you've been there, you've seen it, you've laughed with it, you know what to expect. And that's what's so good about that is you need that professional experience. When you come on, you're not a bag of nerves. You know, you've got a job to do. You know exactly how to do it. You've seen the others do it, and you've learned from them.
Were you a gallows humor type before games?
No, I just got on with my own stuff. I did, but there was many other in the locker room.
Different dark,
oh,
okay.
Absolutely.
Understood. 1.5 to play here. A little twisting pull down there from Davila. Even in working with the Cincinnati Bengals, I'll speak to Zach Taylor in preseason. He might say, well, these guys won't play. But even these are experienced NFL pros. We want them to come out of the locker room, go through the stretching routine, get fully familiar with what we're doing.
Yep.
And then by the time we get to opening day, even if you haven't played in preseason, you've sort of been around the block already.
Exactly. It's exactly what it is. It just means that when you do get to play, you're not panicking. You're not thinking, well, this crowd of 80,000, I'm not used to it, or I'm not used to these senior pros in the locker room, and then your mind gets taken off the job you have to do. You want that to be, if not normal, at least something you've experienced enough that it doesn't faze you.
That's a foul. Free kick to Callaway. Final seconds set to tick off. Well, in this 10th anniversary season, it's going to be difficult to ever make genuine history. This won't be the biggest individual result. It won't be the most goals scored. But it is a remarkable performance that gives you an idea of just what might be possible. This Louisville City team. It's one that Birmingham will hope doesn't create the semblance of a pattern in early days of their season. Ordonez sends it away, full time arrives, and this, a tip to tail, outstanding Louisville performance. A 5-0 win on home ground. A clean sheet for Damian Loss, presented by Kroger. 0 goals, 0 hunger, 0 waste. And a Lou City win means you can head to any participating Louisville area Wendy's tomorrow to get a free small Frosty. No purchase necessary. Participating Wendy's locations. That was remarkably impressive.
Oh, it absolutely was. Ray Serrano, brilliant. Wilson Harris, brilliant. That man in goals with a fantastic save, Damian Lass. And you saw at the end how he went to hug Sean Tosh, Arturo Ordonez, and Carl Adams. The 4 of them had a sort of defensive hug as if, great guys, even though we scored 5, we didn't take our focus off our defensive work. We got the clean sheet. I thought the fullbacks bombed up and down. Jake Morris, superb as well. Brilliant day for Lou City. And, you know, tough time for Birmingham Legion, but they'll bounce back. They're good enough. And I wouldn't be overly concerned at this stage of the season for Birmingham Legion.
Paulo Del Piccolo in the background there, sharing a moment with Enzo Martinez. As this one ends, let's take a look at tonight's move of the game. It's presented by Toyota. Let's go all the way back to when the sun was bright and shiny, 13th minute.
Yeah, Taylor Davila with the cross. Jake Morris, perfect position, just goes in. Not picked up by the central defenders of Birmingham Legion, who really had a tough day at the office. But the amount of ball that was crossed into that box for Matt Van Oekel, especially first half. No wonder Lou City 1-1 comfortably, because it was great service put in from out wide.
Tonight's final score is brought to you by Gorski Law Office. Louisville City with one of the more impressive performances in what is a history-laden club history for sure. 10 years of this, and this is one that'll certainly stick out. Louisville wins it. We will wrap it up on the other side of the break. Birmingham full, their second loss in the opening three. Louisville perfect through three. Show you how when we come back.
At Typical Insurance, you're just another senior.
That is the third health insurance commercial with seniors at a farmer's market.
Right? Don't get me wrong, I love a fresh heirloom, but it's like those companies think we're all the same.
That's why I chose Humana. Before I signed up, I spoke to someone who actually listened to what I needed. She told me about benefits that were right for me, like vision and dental, all in my budget. I finally feel in control. What are you doing?
Taking control.
Humana, a more human way to healthcare.
Imagine yourself in a new Toyota.
Wow.
Yeah.
I love it. Woo!
Whoa. Hey. What are we, Steve?
Winners.
I love you.
Get a new 24 RAV4 or electrified RAV4 hybrid with 4.75 APR financing, or lease a gas-powered RAV4 for $299 a month with 2 years no-cost maintenance.
Ready, set, go get your Toyota today.
Toyota, let's go places.
Welcome, welcome.
Welcome.
Welcome to WDRB Plus.
And now to your top 5 at 10, the stories you clicked on most on WDRB.com.
I'm Dalton Godby, and this is Crossroads.
It's time for this week's edition of Get Bet Smart.
Ownby charges, Ownby! Welcome back to Louisville. This post-game show is presented to you by the Kentucky Office of Highway Safety. Everyone's going to take their time getting out of Butchertown tonight, and for good reason. We take a look at the full-time highlights as Louisville dominate Birmingham to a 5-0 affect. We start in the 13th minute of play. Taylor Davila would get his first goal contribution. Jake Morris's first goal for Louisville.
Yeah, Jake Morris is going to just drift off the shoulder of the central defenders. He kept himself onside and managed to get on the end of that Taylor Davila pass. Lovely ball into a danger area. Good finish by Jake Morris, who really had I thought, a fantastic first half in particular. Then a build-up. Perez down here is going to knock it wide to Jansen Wilson. Jansen Wilson puts the ball again, just puts it into the danger, but Wilson drags it back there, just opens up his angle, and foxes Matt Van Oekel by putting it in the near post. Again, all the pace, all the ability coming down those flanks.
3 goals in 3 games. Harris was not done yet. Louisville was still controlling the tempo of this, but started to get a little bit stretched. Enter Harris from Serrano to put the first dagger in.
Yep. He's on his own there in the middle, Wilson Harris. He's not picked up. Ray Serrano picks him up perfectly. Matt Van Oekel decides to come, doesn't get it, and a little bit of confusion at the back there. And then the pressure just kept on coming. Even though they were 3-0 up at this stage, they still wanted a fourth. Perez here just plays the ball and gets laid back, knocks it into Taylor Davila, who thumps it between Matt Van Oekel's legs, and they got their 4th of the match.
Perez, first goal contribution. Davila, first goal for Louisville City. Skip ahead to the 82nd. This is the old guard. Niall McCabe plowing into space would assist Serrano in the 82nd.
Serrano just keeps himself onside perfectly, but what about the finish? Gets it over the goalkeeper, just under the crossbar. Fabulous finish. Lovely ball from Niall McCabe, and that wraps it up. Well done, Ray Serrano.
Interestingly enough in this game, it's not that Birmingham didn't have their chances. It was 0.18 expected goals in the first half and 1.79 in the second. it did open up in a way that favored them getting back into the game, but Louisville was so clinical, they just put them to bed.
They certainly were clinical on the one end. Damian Lass made a great save on the other. I think credit to Birmingham Legion. They came out second half. They said, let's go for it. We might end up losing by 4 or 5. Well, that's how it turned out. But they were prepared to take that risk to get one and get back in the game. It never happened, thanks to the good defending of Lou City and the keeper, Damian Lass. But still, credit to Birmingham Legion for trying to be positive in the second half.
Well, Louisville felt last week they left the game open too long against Pittsburgh. On this occasion, they put Birmingham to the sword time and time again. Louisville's next game, if you haven't heard, it's April the 6th on CBS next Saturday at 4 p.m. Birmingham will see Loudoun next at home on Sunday the 7th. For Gary Bailey, our entire team, Louisville and beyond, Mike Watts saying, thanks for watching. Jack Harlow loves it. Louisville wins by 5.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League Championship cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the expressed written consent of the United Soccer League Championship.